Hello, welcome to my channel called Brain Dweller. I named it that because I wanted an outlet on my little corner of the internet where anything going on in my head, I want to get it out, I get it out. And so lately I've been thinking about painting a lot, particularly watercolor. I think watercolor is a very interesting media with regard to paint. I have always been intrigued by how the colors bleed together with water and do all these interesting things, so I've been trying to teach myself watercolor. Now, if you're here for a really in-depth tutorial, you're probably in the wrong spot. I don't claim to be an expert. This is my little selfish corner of the internet, if you will. This is just where I want a place to practice and to have it documented and be able to look back in a few months or so and see what kind of progress I've made. And I also figured that with YouTube, a lot of times when you're trying to look up tutorials and whatnot, all you see are experts, and you never see people who are in the middle of their learning process, and so it can get a little discouraging. So I thought it'd be nice to have some videos on the internet, on YouTube, of people who are not experts like me, and maybe we can learn things together and offer each other tips. So what I'm going to be doing today is painting a watercolor only in one color to practice the concept of value. From what I've been learning, I've been watching a lot of Blueprint lately. Totally recommend Blueprint, by the way. I've been learning so much. But from what I understand, the concept of value is not being so concerned with colors or saturation of colors or the correct colors. It's just concentrating on the aspect of lightness and darkness of your painting. So to kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about, I'm going to be painting this today. This painting is from a reference photo that I printed out. It's a picture of me actually in Graz, Austria. And I hold this photo very near to my heart because it was my first international trip ever. In fact, it was my first solo trip ever. I was terrified to do this, and I got on a plane. I hadn't been on a plane in years. I flew across the ocean and got terribly lost in Austria for 3 hours trying to find the train from Vienna to Graz. It was a disaster, but that's why I hold this photo very near and dear to me, because it just represents the first time I ever internationally traveled and traveled solo. And I'm just sitting on a roof eating muesli. So I printed this. This was originally in color. I removed the color. I amped up the highlights and the shadows so I could get a concept of the contrast going on, i.e. the light and the dark values. And I came out with this. I'm going to walk you through how I did this and the approach I took. I've got my image pretty much sketched out, just the general shapes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to use one color for this. And the reason for that is I don't want to confuse myself, or that's not the right word. I don't want to cloud my mind with trying to worry about color. I just want to worry about value. And if you just paint with one color, you're forced to know how to paint darker and lighter with that one color to convey your image. My approach is going to be to work light from dark. So I think I'm just going to start with an overall general wash of very light blue, but I'm going to leave out the whites. Okay, I've added another layer, just to look at the reference photo again. I added some darker values on this roof line here. I added some shadowing under my knee, some more shadow on my head. I'm trying to make sure to keep this front area of my face light. I added another layer to this side of the building and this side of the building. So that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna let this dry and I'm just gonna keep adding layers. So at this point I've tried to add some of the darker values. I'm trying to establish the depth with the darkest parts, which are the lines of the roof here, some of the scarf. I've tried to add some dimension to the shirt because it is a white shirt, but it's not all white. It crinkles a little bit when you sit. So you have to paint the crinkles. I'm trying to add more dimension to the building, so maybe I'll just time lapse a little bit till my camera dies. Okay, I'm back. I have had some lunch because I wanted to let this dry thoroughly. I just felt like I started overworking it, so I wanted to step away for a second and eat some lunch and let it dry. So, to reevaluate, looking at this reference photo, I still need to work on darkness. Down in this area especially. The roof right here is much darker than me, so I need to work on establishing that as well. So I'm just gonna time lapse some more and keep working on that. Okay, I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm close to overworking it. So I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna try to bump up the color on even the darkest values. And then add the details like the stripes on my shirt, the shingles on the roof, and more of the stripes on that building to the right.